Hello everybody, hope you're doing okay. Welcome to my cabin once again. So I'm feeling a bit better myself actually. I managed to do 20 minutes on the bike just now on Zwift, which is 10 minutes more than I managed the other day. So some signs of recovery from my calf injury. Now I thought I'd address a subject today that may be only of interest to a few people, but one thing I share in common with Usain Bolt, Andy the Forest of Dean Runner, and another YouTuber called Jamie's Running, that we all have UK 13 feet. Now for most of you that's probably not an issue, but for me especially, and I think Andy's definitely as well, who's got even slightly longer feet than me, that we really have difficulty getting some shoes sometimes. So what I thought I'd do today is look at each of the different brands and see what shoes we can get in a size 13 and sort of show you that sometimes you can get all the everyday trainers, but getting those specialist racing shoes, especially the carbon fibre shoes and racing flats in general, can be quite difficult. And just to sort of showcase the fact that it is a problem and to show that we do exist, we like to run races, and hopefully the shoe companies should cater to us. Okay, so let's get on the computer and have a look. Okay, so we'll start off with Nike and let's have a look at what shoes they offer in a size 13. Indeed, they offer a 14 as well. So we'll just select 13. And so we've got the next percent there, which is good. We've got the new Pegasus Trail Gore-Tex React Miler Shield, which is the heaviest shoe ever, apparently. But anyway, what else have we got? Terra Kaija. So basically all the old favourites. Infinity Run, Flynet, Pegasus Turbo 2 even. They're still doing them, which is good. Have they got any spikes down here? If we scroll down, yeah, we've got some spikes. We've got some Zoom Victory 5 cross-country spikes, which I think are the lightest cross-country spike I've ever had. So basically it's all looking good. If we then swapped quickly to a 14, if I wanted to even size up, and again, we're all doing pretty well. So thumbs up for Nike. They seem to serve us big feet runners rather well. So if we now move on to Adidas, and I'm on their default best-selling page, and you can see, as in my previous video, a load of colorways of the Ultra Boost. But if we scroll down, we see the Adizero Pro, the Adios Pro, which I've actually now got, is sold out, of course. But they've now got 6 colorways of the Adizero Pro, so that shoe was very hard to get hold of, is now a lot better. And there's various other ones here. So if we filter down on the Adizero shoes, which are my sort of favorite ones. So here's all the Adizero shoes. We've got the Adizero Pro, we've got the SL20, we've got the Boston 9, we've got some sprint shoes, Boston 8, Adios 5, all the old favorites. Now if I filter down on what sizes are on offer, so let's say I'm actually, according to the size chart, a 13 or a 13 and a half in Adidas. So that's select 13 and 13 and a half. And then we'll come back and we find, oh dear, actually all the shoes have gone. So these shoes I've actually got now left are some spikes, would you believe, in my size. So how is it that Adidas think that people with large sizes will want spikes, but they don't want road shoes? So just to believe me, if I put back on 12 and a half on the filter, and then all of a sudden all the shoes come back. Now with Adidas, it's a bit of a compromise because my ideal shoe size would be a 13 or 13 and a half, but because the 12 and a half is only about half a millimeter too short. I do sometimes take a pump with them, and sometimes they come up okay and sometimes a bit short, but it's always a brand that I always wish I would have just a bit more room in. Let's take off the Adizero filter and go back to looking at 13s and 13 and a halves. And you can see once again that they've got the old ever popular Ultra Boost and the Pulse Boost. What else have we got? The X9000 4D. Some sort of more budget shoes here. So plenty of shoes, but nothing really what you might call in the performance range. All these shoes are very much for sort of like everyday type running, not for really going fast in. So it's kind of a frustration. And in fact, if we look at the Ultra Boost, what sizes do they offer in the Ultra Boost? They actually go up to a size 17, would you believe, in an Ultra Boost. But then you stop at Adizero at 12 and a half. So a bit of a thumbs down from Adidas, not one of the best ones. So let's move on to the next one. So we're now on the Saucony page, and the Endorphin range is the shoe that I've been getting on with well this year. I've both got the Pro and the Speed. So they seem to offer sizes up to size 15. So let's filter down on 13 and see what they've got. So we've got the Kinvara in a 13, we've got the Ride 13, which is like an everyday, and we do indeed have the Endorphin Pro, so that's a good sign. So let's click on the Endorphin Pro, see what sizes they offer, and they do actually go up to a 14. Well, if they had them in stock, that's another matter. At least they do them, so that's the main thing. If we just look at one of the best-selling range, like the Ride 13, see what sizes they do in that one. And again, they do up to a 14. So definitely a bit like Nike, a thumbs up from Saucony for me as a big feet runner. Now we're coming on to Brooks. And as you might have guessed, I'm trying to do a good, bad one here alternatively. So let's have a look at what shoes we've got on offer. Well, for a start, they don't even actually have their size chart goes up more than 11, so they don't even think that people with large feet even want to search for a large shoe. So let's have a look at the Ghost 13, one of their best-selling neutral shoes, and see what sizes they do. And good news, they do up to a 14, and they would certainly have my 13 size as well. And I think even in this one, they actually do a narrow version. Seem to be in a different language there, but I have actually had a narrow and a 13 in a Ghost before, so it's a good start on their best-selling shoe. So I'm now looking at the Hyperion Tempo, which I've actually got a 13 in, and what sizes do they offer? Well, in theory, it looks like they even offer up to a 15, which is remarkable. So I think this is going quite well so far. Now if we come on to the Hyperion Elite 2, which is my real bugbear with Brooks. If you remember, I had a size 12 in one of these, in which I did a review of and had to send back. And you see the problem here, that if we look at the sizes available in the Hyperion Elite 2, and it goes up to a 12. And the really daft thing with that is that they kind of pitch the Hyperion Tempo as the training partner in the Elite 2, and they do up to a size 15 in the Tempo, but only a 12 in the Elite 2. So what are the people with size 13, 14 and 15 feet going to do when they want a slightly faster shoe for race day? Do they expect them to just use their Tempo? So a very strange marketing strategy. Well, why would you produce a reasonably specialist shoe like the Tempo in those large sizes, but not in this one? I did actually ask Brooks about this, and their response was that they're going to test the market. Well, I think they've tested the market and decided that it wasn't for them. As it was, it wasn't a great shoe anyway, and I don't think perhaps we would have been overly enamoured with it in the 13, but it would have been nice to have been offered the chance. So as a comparison, let's look at their traditional Hyperion sort of flat shoe, and what sizes have we got on offer here? Well, okay, the good news there is that if they had them in stock, they do actually look they would go up to a 13. So a bit of a halfway house. At least they do a size for me. You'd be out of luck if you wanted a 14 by the look of it. So yeah, sort of a bit of a thumbs down from Brooks, especially in the Elite 2. If they want to sell in these shoes, they ought to perhaps try and get them out to all the people that might want to buy them. Anyway, so that's moving along. So moving along to HOKA ONE, and as you might have gathered, this is probably going to be turning out to be a good one. So I'm on their sort of indexing page here, and I actually get away with a 12.5 in HOKA. So technically they've got 2 sizes more than I actually need, which is a good start. So if we filter down on what is the 13.5 and looking at 13s, so we've got the Clifton 7, we've got the Rincon 2, we've got the Carbon X. So basically it seems to be all the ones that I might want to get. Let's just drill down on the Carbon X to see what sizes they actually offer. So it seems to be a 13 and up to a 13.5. So maybe don't offer the very biggest size, but at least they're offering a size more than I actually think I actually need. So that's a good thumbs up. And if we just check what shoes they're offering their very biggest size within 14.5, with a bit of a limited range, but we've got the Clifton 7 as probably their best selling shoe, isn't it? And then we've got 2 other ones as well. So good thing there is that I've got 2 sizes more than I actually need, and certainly 1 size more would have all their sort of racing shoes as well. So good one there. So moving on to New Balance. Now with New Balance, their sizing is a bit odd, and their sizes come up rather large. So I actually need a 13.5. It's equivalent to a sort of a Nike 13. So if we filter down on 13.5, what do we see? Well, we've certainly got the 1080 V10, which I've had. So let's have a look at that one. And actually it goes up to a UK 15.5. So certainly in their best-selling shoes, that's a good sign they've got a wide range of shoes, and actually picked up a narrow version of that. So they do have both the widths and the range of sizes, at least in their best sellers. If we search for the RC Elite, unfortunately that's rather rather sold out. They've only got one size available. But what I can say about the RC Elite, that in the UK they only actually did up to a 12.5, so I actually need a 13.5. And Andy, the Forest Dean Runner, actually contacted his local shoe shop, and apparently New Balance weren't even actually offering the 13.5 anywhere in the country. So I decided to order one from a US shop as a 13.5, which is the largest size they do, and I did actually get that one, but it had to cost me a lot more. So I was rather annoyed that I had to basically order that shoe from America for almost double the cost. But it's a shoe that's looked quite promising after a few runs, but hopefully when my calf has improved, I can give that a proper go. But a bit of a sort of a mixed bag there from New Balance. At least they do the shoe, but they didn't do it in this country. So that's basically meaning that as a shoe geek, I really have to deep down in my pockets if I really wanted that one. Let's have a quick look back at their index page again and filter down on race day shoes in all sizes. So we've got the Fusel Prism, we've got a few spikes here, a few flats. So we've basically got 9 shoes on offer in any size. But you can see instantly that 13.5 is the biggest they do. So if I filter down on 13.5, I'm just left with one shoe, the Fusel Prism, which I think is their sort of lightweight stability shoe. I think Andy Forrester Dean Runner had a good review of that one. It's one I haven't decided to pick up, but as you can see, I was going down from 9 shoes available to anybody to just literally one in my size. So New Balance, they do make a play of offering widths and various sizes, but when it comes down to it, they're not actually really catering for me that well at all, actually. So a bit of a mixed bag from New Balance. Not bad, because I managed to get their RC Elite in the shoe. Admittedly, had to go and but I had to go a lot of effort to get it. Let's have a quick look at Puma. Now, Puma is not really a shoe company that I've got any experience of at all. But I only picked it because I know that Usain Bolt used to be sponsored by them. And sure enough, they do actually offer a 13 in their indexing page. So we've got quite a few shoes on offer here. So if we filter down on 13, we do actually seem to get the same range of shoes available. So their ultra ride shoe here, maybe that's one that we need to pick up and have a look at. So it does go up to a 13, so that's a good sign. And let's have a look at what is their most expensive shoe. That might be the ones that are of most interest to shoe geeks like me. So we've got this hybrid speed orbiter, which looks like potentially could be a fast shoe. And again, it's available in a 13. So it seems like Puma are quite good. They seem to offer all their shoes in all the sizes. Let's just try one more. What's this one here? Speed 500. Yeah, and again, it's available in a 13, so that's a good sign. So thumbs up there from Puma. Admittedly, I'll be right at the top of the range that they do, but at least they do a 13. It'd be unfortunate if you wanted a 14, but, well, can't have everything, I suppose. So, yeah, a promising sign there from Puma. So I've now come onto the Skechers page. Now, Skechers is a brand that can be quite hard to get hold of in the UK, and I've never actually had a Skechers shoe. But when you first come on, the first thing it offers you to see is what shoes you want to do in a 13. I'm on their sort of Go Run page, which is all their sort of actual performance running shoes rather than just sort of casual shoes. So let's filter down on 13 and see what's left. And instantly you can see that not a lot really. What shoes do we have? I mean, these, apart from the Go Run 7, they all seem to be like fairly budget shoes. So let's see the Go Run 7. Well, at least they do offer a 13. In fact, I could actually buy that now, so that's not too bad. I've gone back to the main page and taken off the filters and sorted them by high to low. So all the sort of performance shoes hopefully should be at the front. So let's have a look at what sizes are available in some of these shoes. Can we see the Speed Elite here? I don't think there's even offer in the UK. There's their carbon fibre plated shoe. So let's have a look at this top selling one here, the Go Run 4 Hyper. Well, it does seem to be available in the 13, so that's at least promising. So I've headed over to the US version of the Skechers site to see if I can see their carbon plated shoe, which is the Speed Elite Hyper, I believe. So let's have a look at this one. And they've only actually got it available in the US 8 or 12 to buy, but we do have a don't see your size option. So let's see what sizes are available or would be available. So they've got a US 13, which is a UK 12. So that would mean that I couldn't really test this shoe, which is a bit of a shame. So example of a company that only does shoes up to do a 12. So a bit of a thumbs down there from me, unfortunately, for Skechers. So the final one let's have a look at is ASICS. Now let's see what sizes they've got on offer for anything. So literally they seem to go up to a 16, so that's quite promising. But what is the story with their racing shoes? Might be a bit different. So let's have a quick look at the Kayano or the Cumulus, which is their top selling stability or neutral shoe. The Kayano goes up to a 15, which is I think in ASICS, although I said I'm 13, it's a shoe that sometimes I could actually get away with a 12. So in that sense, they may even have 3 sizes more than I actually need in their stability shoe. Okay, so let's see if we can search for some racing shoes. So I found under collections, we've got Meta Racer. What have we got here? Oh, there we go, men's shoe in the Meta Racer. And as you can see, it only got up to a 12. Now, slightly fortunately for me in ASICS, their 12 is like a Nike 13. So that actually did fit. But you can sort of see that although they went up to a 15 in the Kayano, they're actually going up to a 12 in this racing shoe. So if you've got a slightly bigger foot than me, like Andy Forrester Dean Runner has, I think his feet are about 3 millimeters longer than mine, then probably this 12 isn't going to be long enough and he's going to be out of luck. Let's have a look at some of their other run faster shoes. So I've actually got the Road Blast, which I wouldn't really call as a racing shoe. What is this Jill Noosa Tribe shoe? That looks fairly racy, isn't it? So let's have a look at that one. What size do they do on that one? Well, that's interesting. So they do up to 14 in that one. So that looks fairly racy shoe to me. So a good example of the carbon fiber plated shoes seems to be somewhat less size availability than some of their more mainstream styles. Now, one last one from ASICS. I thought this is quite interesting because this is possibly the most expensive shoe out. This is the Meta Sprint Tokyo, which is basically the sprint spike version of the Meta Racer, as far as I can see. And you can see that it cost a whopping £270, which I think is technically about 5p more than the Alphafly. So that could take the price of the most expensive UK running shoe on the market at this time. And you can see again that it only goes up to a 12. So if you were a sprinter with big feet, then, well, at least you can save your money on this £270, couldn't you? But let's have a look at some of their other ones here, like the Cosmo Middle Distance Spike. So that's another one on me. At least they do a 13 in that one. So let's see what's an example of how these shoes, there's no consistency between models. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that little view of what all the shoe companies offer for us large feet runners, and I hope you can appreciate some of the problems we had. So one day we'll be able to get in contact with some of these brand managers from some of these people and maybe quiz them on what their strategy is. Because if companies like Nike can do it, then, and they're probably almost certainly the number one running shoe company in the world, then is it a case that, you know, it's just a total commercial decision? There's no point in offering sizes that people don't want to buy. And yet when Nike offer a 13 and a 14 in the Alphafly, the next percent, sure enough, they sell out. So clearly there's a demand for those type of shoes. Unfortunately, the likes of Brooks, ASICS, Skechers don't seem to share that view and only go up to a 12. Anyway, so once again, hope you found this interesting and look forward to seeing the next one. Oh, by the way, I'm sort of heading towards 1,000 subscribers, so if you're still here, would appreciate a subscribe if you already haven't, and I'll be looking to see if I can get my 1,000 subscribers up. And what little thing I'll do for that when I get there remains to be seen. Okay, thanks again for watching and see you soon. Bye.